these are my top 10 NFL teams right now heading into week 8. So at number 10, this was a toss-up. This was close between the Raiders and the Chargers, but I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders for now. Listen, they're 5-2. They're tied for the best record in the AFC. And it's hard just to not give them the credit right now. They're 2-0 since the whole John Gruden resignation development. They've regrouped really well. Their top 10 offense in the league, Derek Carr, has been playing extremely well. Second most passing yards in the league. Right now, they really started to develop Henry Ruggs. This is a guy who's turning into a legitimate wide receiver who's playing well. Of course, they have Darren Waller and Josh Jacobs. And the defense is actually improving. This is a defense that's top 10 against the pass. They're starting to develop more of a pass rush as well. So I kind of like the direction right now that I'm seeing out of the Las Vegas Raiders. I have them at number 10. At number 9, Cincinnati Bengals. They put the NFL on notice last week. When they romped the Ravens 41-17, I think that was the first true wake-up call for all of us about this Cincinnati Bengals team. Like, hey, this isn't a team you're going to roll over anymore. This isn't a team that's at the bottom of the AFC North. No, you look at the AFC North, they're sitting atop the AFC North right now, at least tied for the division with the Ravens. They're 5-2. Again, they've got a share of the best record in the AFC. The offense is emerging as an elite offense. Of course, Jamar Chase, second most receiving yards in the NFL this year. Second most receiving yards in the NFL behind Cooper Kupp. He's been sensational. Obviously, the leading candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Joe Burrow is getting stronger. He's getting healthier, more importantly. People forget that he tore his ACL midway through the season last year, and now he's still bouncing back and having an even more impressive second campaign than he did the first time around. And the defense right now continues to improve. They've got some really interesting pieces. Logan Wilson is second with interceptions, with 4 on the season. And you look at this overall defense, their top 5 scoring defense in the NFL are the Cincinnati Bengals, holding teams to 18 points per game. So you got Logan Wilson, you got Trey Hendrickson, who is top 5 in sacks with 6.5 sacks on the year. So you're getting some inside pressure. You're getting the dynamic cornerback play. And obviously the offense is doing a really good job keeping Burrow upright. And the connection that he and Jamar Chase just continue to develop, just getting stronger and stronger. And I think that the Cincinnati Bengals are really rolling. They're really coming. So they're at number 9. At number 8, I know this is a little bit controversial given the fact that the Bengals just beat the Ravens, but I'm sorry, I just don't view the Bengals as legitimately better than the Baltimore Ravens if they were to play 10 times. I think the Ravens would probably win that 7 out of the 10 times. So I've got the Ravens at number 8. They're 5-2. Listen, I think that they should have beaten the Raiders in week 1. If they beat the Raiders in week 1, then they're 6-1 right now, and no one's really discussing them in the same way as they are right now. I just think that Lamar Jackson's on another level. The guy is 16th in the NFL in passing yards with like 1,943 passing yards, but he's also top 6 in the NFL in rushing yards amongst all players in the NFL. Top 16 in passing, top 6 in rushing is Lamar Jackson. And what he's been doing just every single year, getting better, becoming a more accurate thrower, being smarter with his legs, being a little bit more selective about the passes that he's making, when he's choosing to take off. I just like his poise. I love the commitment and the drive that he has. John Harbaugh is an excellent coach. And again, the Ravens are still 5-2, tied for the best record in the AFC. So I personally still like them at number 8. The defense, listen, is it the best? No, but they're still top 5 against the run, which is important that they have some semblance of a defensive infrastructure implemented. So I like them at number 8. At number 7 is the Tennessee Titans. Do I absolutely love the Tennessee Titans? No, but the one thing that they can claim over almost every single other team in the NFL is a clear sense of identity. This is a run team. This is a running and physical football club. Derrick Henry is a leading candidate, not a leading candidate, but a candidate for league MVP. The guy's been a monster, head and shoulders above the rest when it comes to running backs. Leads the NFL in rushing yards with over like 820. Leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns with 10. The guy's been just an individual workhorse. And without him, the Titans wouldn't be where they're at. And the interesting thing is, they always just seem to be there in the mix. They're not necessarily a Super Bowl favorite, but they've had some really quality wins over the Bills. They've had over the Colts. I mean, this is a good team. This is a really good team. They've got some playmakers. Harold Landry, the second, he's got 7.5 sacks, which is second in the NFL. Kevin Byard with 3 interceptions. So they've got some playmakers. And again, the Titans just destroyed the Chiefs. Say what you want about them, but they've got some quality wins, and I'd be hard-pressed not to insert them right now at number 7. At number 6, the Green Bay Packers. This might be the hottest team in the NFL. Since that just annihilation in week 1 that they suffered to the Saints, they've reeled off 6 straight wins. They've got some quality wins over the Steelers, at the 49ers, at the Bengals. Now we're seeing that win against the Bengals in overtime is actually looking pretty good. And Aaron Rodgers is still as efficient as ever. 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So I think that the Green Bay Packers at 6-1, again, tied for the second best record in the NFC. I just have to put them at number 6. The only reason I don't have them a little bit higher is because I do have some reservations about their defense. They are a top 7 total defense in the league, but I'm not fully sold on them quite the same like I was last year. But listen, this Thursday is the big test because they're playing the Cardinals on the road this Thursday. No Devontae Adams. He's on the COVID list. No Alan Lazard as well, as just announced yesterday. He's on the COVID list. So this is a marquee opportunity for Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones and Valdez Scantling and whomever else that they're going to feature, Robert Tonyan, whoever else that they're going to feature. If Aaron Rodgers and the Packers can ultimately go to Arizona, who's completely healthy, don't have any absences and injuries to speak of, and they can win that, well, now I'm catapulting them inside the top 3. But until I see that happen, I still want to reward them for being 6-1, but they haven't looked necessarily the most dominant, so I'm keeping them at number 6. At number 5 is the LA Rams. I could make an argument the Rams should be slightly higher, though I'm going to try and remove my bias from the Rams, given the fact that I'm from Los Angeles. This is a 6-1 team. The offense is electric. Matthew Stafford, 3rd most passing yards in the league. He's a candidate for league MVP, 19 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. The connection that he has with Cooper Kupp, that might be the best quarterback wide receiver duo in the league. And I'm not embellishing. Cooper Kupp leads the NFL in receiving yards with over 800. And the guy that's throwing it to him is Matthew Stafford. Their rapport is extremely strong, clearly. They're starting to actually fill the void of Cam Akers, given the fact that Cam Akers ruptured his Achilles right before the start of the season. There was a gaping hole in their run game. They've started to plug that in nicely. They're managing to still get some productive rushing yards. And the defense, though it's not nearly the same as it's been in several years, they're still top 10 in total defense, and they've got huge wins against the Bucs and against the Colts. And I understand that the Bucs were about to face New England Patriots the following week, so maybe their mindset was a little bit shifted and their focus was a little bit spread out. But I'm not going to take away the performance I saw from the Rams. They've just been really steady, and I think that they are poised right now to just continue to creep up closer and closer to that number 1 overall spot in the rankings. I have them modestly at number 5. At number 4, a little bit controversial to a certain extent, the Buffalo Bills. Again, I don't just look at wins and losses, but how have you been playing? The Bills right now are 4-2. So yes, they have 2 losses, but the initial loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, that feels like ancient times. They had won 4 straight. And to be honest, they should have beaten the Tennessee Titans if not for Josh Allen being able to convert a 1-yard run on 4th and 1. He couldn't get it. So I just thought that the Bills were honestly better than the Titans. And I just think that if they were to play multiple times, that they would win the majority of those games. So I don't really care that they're 4-2. They should be probably 5-1. And listen, Josh Allen, I don't necessarily believe that the Buffalo Bills are the best team in the AFC or will finish as the best team in the AFC. But for right now, I have to reward them for the work that they've done. And again, I don't want to dismiss the win against the Chiefs. Yes, it wasn't the most beautiful fashion, but it's still a quality win in my mind. Their top 6 offense in the league, the number 1 rated defense in the league, that says something. That says something. So I'm not going to dismiss that. I mean, they've got some playmakers, Tremont Edmonds, Tre'Davious White, Micah Hyde. They've got some really, really special defensive players, and that's contributed to the number 1 overall defense. So we kind of forget about them because they're coming off a bye week right now. But I've got them at number 4. At number 3, the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys, yes. This is a good team. They're 5-1. They got the number 1 rated offense in the NFL. And more importantly, what they've done is they've reestablished that offensive line. That offensive line is starting to look like it did 3 to 5 years ago as one of the prolific offenses buttressed by that offensive line. It's established the run game. Now they're a top 2 running attack in the league. Ezekiel Elliott is starting to regain his form, just as productive as he was several years ago. Tony Pollard is also proving that he can be an every down type of back, not just for the Cowboys, but for any team. So I really like what they're doing. And defensively, they've got the most interceptions of any team in the league. So they're very opportunistic on the defensive side. 11 interceptions on the season, 7 for Trevon Diggs. He's probably one of the leading candidates, if not the leading candidate for defensive player of the year. The way that he's just kind of been a glove over at the cornerback position. So he's been really good. Micah Parsons has been really good. They're top 10 against the run. That says something. Again, this was a putrid defense that has now started to take some steps forward. So I like them at number 3. I have to give them credit. And they don't even have Michael Gallup yet. And this offense is still loaded. So I have them at number 3. At number 2, you could argue they should be number 1, but I'm going to have them at number 2, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 6-1. Again, their only loss to the LA Rams at SoFi. Perhaps part of their concentration was a little bit divvied up as they were preparing for the New England Patriots the following week. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, listen, Tom Brady just continues to defy physics, continues to defy age and logic at 44 as the leading candidate and front runner for league MVP. 21 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And he's just doing it again. He's doing it with a cornucopia of players and options and weapons to go to. Mike Evans has been sensational. Chris Godwin. And again, now they're utilizing O.J. Howard. They don't even have Gronkowski back. They still have Antonio Brown. This team is just loaded. It's absolutely loaded. They don't even have Scotty Miller yet. Their running backs are productive. Giovanni Bernard, Leonard Fournette, Rojo. So they're getting production out of the running back position, and the defense is really starting to turn heads once again. As I talked about kind of last year, they're building off of that confidence from a season ago. Now they're starting to whip into shape. They demolished the Bears 38-3. So Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I just have to get them at number 2. I have to get them at number 2. They got the best run defense in the NFL, which was one of their calling cards last season. So it's good to see that they're still, once again, strong in that department. So I have them at number 2. And at number 1, listen, I have to go with the Arizona Cardinals. At this point, if you don't have the Arizona Cardinals at number 1, you're just disrespectful. Now, do I think that they are head and shoulders definitively the best team in the NFL? No, I'm not going to say unequivocally they're number 1. They're leaps and bounds ahead of other teams. I think there are a lot of other teams in the top 10 that could give them a run for their money, could beat them. But at this point, they're the only undefeated team in the league at 7-0. and you have to be rewarded for that. And when they're right, listen, this is a really difficult team to stop offensively. Kyler Murray is having a tremendous season. He's in the running for league MVP. He's healthy and he's upright, which at this point of the season last year was not the case, and that kind of derailed them. And ultimately, that's what kind of led to the season spiraling out of control a little bit. That's not the case. J.J. Watt has come in and kind of infused this confidence into this defense. The defense is playing well. They actually limit teams to the fewest points per game. 16.3 points per game in the NFL. That's best in the NFL. So the defense is good. The offense is elite. And they've got an MVP candidate at the quarterback position in Kyler Murray. I have to reward them and him for that. So I've got them at number 1, wins over the Titans and the Rams, both on the road. This is a legitimate team. This is without question, a legitimate team.